Guys, I'm back with a new video, and in this particular lecture we are going to study about asymptotes. Okay, so what are we going to study under asymptotes? So under asymptotes we are going to study the two types of asymptotes, which are your rectangular asymptotes, okay, your rectangular asymptotes and your oblique asymptotes. Then under rectangular asymptotes we have horizontal asymptotes, and vertical asymptotes. Okay, and then we will be learning the basic graphical representation of an asymptote. How does it look like? Then examples of some asymptotes, and lastly and most importantly, how to find asymptotes. So let us start with the general definition of asymptote. So if we simply define asymptote, then we can say that an asymptote is a tangent at infinity. Okay, an asymptote is a tangent at infinity. If we draw a when we say that we have drawn an asymptote to a curve, we basically mean that we have tried to draw such a particular line which will eventually be touching that particular curve at infinity. Okay, that's why we tell it the tangent at infinity, or tangent from infinity, tangent touching a curve at infinity. Okay, so the basic graphical representation of a asymptote can kind of look like this. So you have this curve which is kind of looks like the curve of y equals to e to the power x, and you can easily draw a line which maybe looks like this, and you can draw this line in such a way that this line basically tends to touch the curve, at infinity. This line tends to touch the curve at infinity. Okay, so this line becomes eventually an asymptote. Similarly, if you would have a curve like this, say you have a curve like this, what can we draw? Say suppose we have say this, and here we have this. Let us make it a bit different. So this is like this, say. Okay, so to this point we can also draw a curve, basically a line which touches or which tends to touch both these extremities in the finite region of the curve. If we consider this region to be a finite region, then the extremities of the curve in the finite region are these 2 points, right? These 2 points. So we can draw a line which is a red line given here, this one, so that it tends to touch the curve at both the extremities at infinity, and such a line will eventually be known as an asymptote. Okay, so we have already discussed about the two types of asymptote. One is your rectangular asymptote, one is your oblique asymptote. And the rectangular asymptote, we have your horizontal asymptote and we have your vertical asymptote. So now how do we find these asymptotes? Okay, let me give you an example of rectangular asymptotes too. So suppose you have the curve, say you have a curve which looks like this. Suppose you have a curve which looks like this. Okay, suppose maybe not like this, not like a curved one, but like this. Okay, suppose this is a curve, so we can draw an asymptote to it like this, for example. Okay, and we will eventually find that this asymptote drawn, or this tangent at infinity drawn, will be parallel to your x-axis. Okay, will be parallel to your x-axis. So these asymptotes which eventually become parallel to x-axis, they are known as the horizontal asymptotes. Okay, similarly, if we would have drawn the curve like this, we would have drawn the curve like this, suppose like this, then we would have also been able to draw an asymptote which kind of looks like this. Okay, which tends to touch the curve at infinity, and we find that this is parallel to your y-axis. So these sorts of asymptotes are known as vertical asymptotes. Got it? So parallel to x-axis horizontal asymptote, parallel to y-axis vertical asymptote, and those asymptotes which are neither parallel to x-axis nor parallel to y-axis are known as the oblique Now pretty clear, guys. So how can we find your rectangular asymptotes and your oblique asymptotes. So rectangular asymptotes are very much easy to find. So rectangular asymptotes, okay, rectangular asymptotes. So suppose we have a curve, let's say y, sorry, let it be a multivariable curve. So let's say we have z equals to say 4 y square minus x square y square plus 9x square. So this is the curve you have, and you need to find the equations of the rectangular asymptotes to this curve. Now we have generalized the term rectangular asymptotes to make you find both both vertical as well as horizontal asymptotes if they both exist, and if either of them exist then we need to find the equation of that particular asymptote, and if neither of them exist then we need to write the conclusion, the required conclusion, that how you actually came up with this result that none of the asymptotes exist. So to find horizontal asymptotes, now see, horizontal asymptotes which are parallel to x axis, they will have their equation in this form, y equals to plus minus m, where m belongs to the set of real numbers. This is the way you can actually write the equation of a line which is parallel to x axis, and that will be here the equation of the asymptote too, because the asymptote is actually parallel to x axis. So to find horizontal asymptotes, what we need to do is that we need to find all the coefficients of the highest power of x, make it clear, of the highest power of x from the given equation. So what is the highest power of x in the given equation? It is x square, right? And what are the coefficients of x square given? So the coefficient of x square is given to be, here we have y square and here we have 4y square, sorry, here we have y square, here we have y square, here we have 9, right, not 4y square, here we have y square and here we have 9. So, and we need to form an equation of the coefficients of the highest power of x and equate that to 0. Basically, see, if we take x square common from this particular portion, I mean rather we should bracket the negative sign too because it will create a problem. So if we basically take this particular portion and take x square common out, then what do we get? We get a minus y square plus 9, right, and they individually are the coefficients of the highest power of x, right. So we need to equate this particular function or this particular let it be called a function itself. So this particular function of the coefficients of the highest power of x, and we need to equate them to 0, and from there we will be easily finding out an equation, and here the equation tells you that y is equals to plus minus 3, and this will be the required equation for one of the rectangular asymptotes, and this one is a vertical asymptote. Similarly, if you need to find the equation of the vertical asymptote, what you need to do, you need to just do the reverse of this. You just need to extract out the coefficients of the highest power of y and equate that to 0. So we can find out from here that we have 4 minus x square equal to 0. So from here you can say that x equals to plus minus 2, and this is the equation of the other rectangular asymptote, which is your horizontal asymptote. Okay, so this is pretty understanding, right? How can we find the equations of the rectangular asymptotes? So now we come to the more important one, that is the oblique asymptote. This one is a bit confusing, so you need to understand it properly. Oblique asymptote. Okay, so to find the equation of the oblique asymptote, you need to go through certain steps, and I want to make you understand these certain steps through a problem, okay, so that it will be more clear to you. Describing these steps basically will make the concept more confusing. So let us understand this through a problem. So I have got an equation here of a particular curve, and we need to basically find out the asymptote, the basic rather the oblique asymptotes of this particular curve. Okay, one more thing to just a note of it, that whatever will be the degree of the equation of the curve, okay, whatever will be the degree of the equation of the curve, or the rather the highest power term, okay, of the equation of the curve, you will have that number of asymptotes. Okay, you will have that number of asymptotes. Got it? So to find the oblique asymptotes of this particular curve, carefully notice what we will be doing. See, first we will be separating this curve into individual functions of like powers. Okay, see, here we have power of 3, here we have power of x to the power 1 and 2, so complete the total to give you a power of 3. So here you have also 2 and 1, to total power of 3. Here you also have a power of 3. So this portion basically gives you a function of powers of 3. So let us write it as phi 1. Okay, and okay, let us make it phi 3 itself, to okay, phi 3, and you are not going to write it the way it is given in the equation. Instead, you are going to put m in place of y, you are going to put m in place of y and 1 in place of x. Okay, so you are going to replace y with m and x with 1. So to get an equation, or basically rather a function of only one dependent variable, that is m, which gives you m cube minus 3m square minus m plus 3. Okay, so this is what you get. Okay, then you have one more part, that is this particular portion, right, which are all like powers of 2, right. So this is your 2, this is 1 plus 1 plus 1 2, and this is also you have 2. So you have got one more, that is phi 2m, which gives you minus 3 plus 10m minus 3m square. Got it? And lastly you have one more portion, so phi 1m, which gives you minus 10x and minus 10y, so minus 10 and minus 10m, and then you have phi 0 m, which is 7, that is your constant portion. So these are the individual functions of like powers of the equation of the curve which is given to you. Now what you need to do is that you need to equate the highest power function, that is phi 3 in this case, to 0. Okay, so you have this m cube. Okay, rather first let me tell you what is this m. So whatever will be the asymptote, the equation of the asymptote will be of the form y equals to mx plus c, right. See here, so this m and this m are exactly same, this m and this m are exactly same. We are just replacing the y value with the slope of the asymptote which you will be eventually getting, and we are replacing x with 1, nothing else. Okay, now whatever the number of asymptotes you will be eventually getting, you will get that number of m values. Okay, so or maybe not that number of n values, you may get repeated values of m. Okay, but you need to make sure that whatever will be the degree of the curve you have got, you will have that number of asymptotes. So m cube minus 3m square minus m, was it minus m, right? Okay, minus m plus 3 equal to 0. So from here you get m square times m minus 3 minus 1 m minus 3 equals to 0. From here you will have m minus 3 times m square minus 1 equal to 0. That gives you m minus 3 times m minus 1 times m plus 1 equal to 0. And from here you get eventually your three different values of m. So m equals to 1, minus 1 and 3. So these are the three values of m. So basically whatever the the equation of the asymptotes you will be getting, they will look like y is equals to x plus c1, y is equals to minus x plus c2, and y is equals to 3x plus c3. Okay, so now we need to identify what will be the y-intercepts of those particular asymptotes. Okay, now there are basically two different methods to find the y-intercepts depending upon whether you have repeated values of m or not. Like in this case we do not have any repeated values of m, we all have the distinct values of m. So we can go through the normal method to find out the value of c. And what is that? So you basically find the value of c as c is equals to minus phi n minus 1 m over phi dash n m. Got it? What is phi n m? So here n basically indicates to highest power. Okay, highest power. So basically in this case we can replace n with 3. So what will be the different values of c? Okay, so now how can we get the values of c? So let's see. So c1 basically equals minus phi 2 m1 over phi 3 dash m1, which makes you give, okay, what was your phi 2? So your phi 2 was this value, right? And you have got m1 as 1. So putting m1 as m as 1 here, we get minus 3 plus 10 minus 3, right? Minus 3 plus 10 minus 3. So minus 3 plus 10 minus 3 over phi 3 dash m1. So this was your phi 3. So your phi 3 dash will basically give you what? This will basically give you, let me write it in a different color. This will basically give you 3m square minus 6m minus 1, and you need to place 1 in place of m. So here you eventually get 3 minus 6 minus 1, right? So 3 minus 6 minus 1, which gives you, so in the numerator you have 4, in the denominator you have minus 2, right? Oh no, sorry, not minus 2, minus 4. You have minus 4 and they cancel out to give you minus 1. So the first equation you have y is equals to x minus 1 as the first equation of the asymptote. Similarly, you will get your C2 as minus phi 2 minus 1 over phi 3 dash minus 1. So what will be your phi 2 minus 1? So this was your phi 2, right? So phi 2 minus 1 will eventually give you minus 3 minus 10 minus 3. Okay, so it will give you minus 3 minus 10 minus 3, and in the denominator portion you will have, so this was your derivative. So this will become 3 plus 6 minus 1, right? 3 plus 6 minus 1. So 3 plus 6 minus 1, which gives you minus 16 over 8. That is minus 2. Minus 16 over 8. So the next equation you get y is equals to minus x minus 2. This is the next equation of the asymptote. So finally we come to the equation of the third asymptote, which is your minus phi 2 3 over phi 3 dash 3. So your phi 2 was this one. So this becomes minus 3 plus 30 minus 27, right? Minus 3 plus 30 minus 27. So we can actually find that the top portion becomes 0, right? So this one becomes 0, and here in the bottom you have whatever, let it be, the top one becomes 0. So you're not to worry anymore. Your phi 3 dash 3 will not be 0. Your phi 3 should not be 0 actually. So this you have your phi 3 dash 3, this one, right? So this is 27. 27 minus 18 gives you 9 minus 1. So this is not basically equal to 0. So the above portion is 0. So this is basically equal to 0. C equal to 0. So not y. I am very sorry. This will be C. Right. Have I written y? No, C. C3. So the final equation you have y equals to 3x. Right. So your C portion is 0. So these are the three oblique asymptotes which you get. Y is equals to minus x minus 2, y equals to x minus 1, and y equal to 3x. Got it? Now so this is the actual method in which you find the oblique asymptotes. But now the problem arises if you have repeated values of m. Okay. So to understand this problem, we will take another example of an equation of a curve. We will go through the process of finding it, and when we will counter the step where we will be finding, you know, the repeated values of m, then how to deal with that problem. Okay, so let us take a new equation. So let us take this particular equation. Okay, so we are going to find the oblique asymptotes to this equation. So let us start as we started the previous one. First we need to, you know, disintegrate it into individual functions of like powers. So we have here phi 3m equals to 1 minus 5m plus 8m square minus 4m cube. Next we have phi 2m equals to 1 minus 3m plus 2m square, and we have phi, you know, 1m equals to 0 and phi 0m equals to minus 1. We have no, you know, linear term here, we have no x to the power 1 terms here or y to the power 1 terms here. So basically these are the, you know, disintegrated functions. Now what we need to do is that we need to equate this portion to 0, right? So what do we get here? Let's see. So 1 minus 5m plus 8m square minus 4m cube, this equals 0. Okay, now how to, you know, find the value of m here? So carefully notice, if we place m equal to 1, we get 1 minus 5 plus 8 minus 4, which is equal to 0. That means 1 is a root of this equation. 1 is a root of this equation. Now, so basically we can say that x minus 1 is a factor of this function. Okay, not x minus 1, I am very sorry, m minus 1. M minus 1 is a factor of this function. So we can divide this function with m minus 1 to get the rest of the portion. So if we divide 8m square, okay, let it be 8m square. Let us start with the, you know, highest power. So minus 4m cube plus 8m square minus 5m plus 1 divided by m minus 1. So first we get minus 4m square. So here we have minus 4m cube plus 4m square, right? So from here we get, so they get subtracted, right? So this portion cancels out, this portion gives you 4m square. You have minus 5m plus 1. Okay, so then you have plus 4m to give you 4m square minus 4m. They eventually cancel and this gives you minus m plus 1. So you multiply here minus 1 to give you minus m plus 1, and they cancel out to give you the remainder 0. Now this was obvious, since m minus 1 is a factor of this equation, so you are bound to get remainder 0. So eventually you get that this equation can be written as m minus 1 times minus 4m square plus 4m minus 1 equals 0. Okay, you can further write it as m minus 1 times 4m square minus 4m plus 1 equal to 0 by taking minus common from this portion, which eventually gives you m minus 1 times 2m minus 1 whole square equals to 0, and from here you get the values of m as m equals to 1 and m equals to 1 by 2, 1 by 2, right? You get two roots of 1 by 2 from this particular equation. Now that means that you are having repeated values of m. You are having repeated values of m. First let us do our work with the one and only distinct value of m, and first let us find the first oblique asymptote. So you have your C1 equals to minus phi 2 1 over phi dash 3 1. Okay, so what is your phi 2 1? So your phi 2 1 is actually 1 minus 3m plus 2, right? So this is actually 0. This is actually 0. So basically your C1 eventually becomes 0. Your C1 eventually becomes 0. You can check whether your phi, okay, I have written 3 twice here, right? So you can eventually, you can check that your whether the denominator is 0 or not. So phi 3 dash If you dash it, you get, first derivative becomes minus 5 plus 16m minus 12m square. Putting m equal to 1, you get minus 5 plus 11 minus 12. So this eventually gives you minus 6. So denominator is not equal to 0. So your C1 is 0. So the first equation of the asymptote, oblique asymptote, you get as y equals to x. Y equals to x. Now what to do with the repeated values of m? Now to find the repeated values of m, we cannot use this particular formula. Reason being key, if you use this particular formula to find the y-intercept for same values of m, then eventually you will be getting same values of c, which actually indicate towards one particular equation. But you have to find two different particular equations, right? Because the degree you have here is 3. So you will have two separate equations, not one single equation. So now, since we have two repeated values of m, so basically we will use this particular formula, which gives you c square over 2 factorial times phi double dash 3m plus c over 1 factorial phi 2 single dash m plus phi 1 m equal to 0. Got it? So this is the formula which we will be using here. Now if we would have got 3 repeated values of m, suppose we would have got 3 repeated values of m, then we will be starting with c cube 3 factorial. We would have been started with c cube 3 factorial phi 4 triple dash m okay, plus c square 2 factorial phi 3 double dash m and so on. Okay, clear? Now you could have also got this as 3 itself. So you could have started with 3 also. Okay, this would have been 3 triple dash 2 double dash, then phi 1 would have been single dash. Here would have this. Okay, and lastly you would have 0, but basically 0 actually phi 0 m. Okay, so basically whatever the number of repeated roots of m you have, you need to start with that particular number, the Cn over n factorial, derivate the highest like power distinct function that number of times, okay, and start from there. Got it? Start from there and come down. Now see, if you have if you need to find the nth power, so you cannot write 3 here, because you need to replace 3 with n actually. In under successive differentiation you actually know this, right? You can before getting 0 or before the derivative to vanish, you can, the maximum number of times you can find the derivative of a function is equal to its degree. Okay, so if we need to derivate a function or differentiate a function up to n times, so its degree also needs to be n. We cannot differentiate a function more number of times than its degree. Okay, so we need to start from here and we need to keep on decreasing n. Getting my point? So let us do the problem. So this is the function which we are going to use here, I mean the formula which we are going to use here. This one is the formula. Okay, wait a minute, I have wrongly erased this portion. Okay, so this one is the formula, and so how do we solve this portion? So we have c square over 2 phi 3 double dash m. Okay, m is your 1/2. So what is your phi 3? So let me get your phi 3 value. So this one is your phi 3, right? This one is your phi 3. So what is your phi 3 double dash 1/2? Find out. Let us find out it. So your single dash becomes, so when you are finding double dash, so this portion disappears, right? Here you have 16m, so this becomes plus 16. Here you have minus 12m square, so that becomes minus 24m, right? and if you put m equals to half, you get 16 minus 12, that is 4. So here you have c square over 2 times 4 plus you have c phi 2 dash m, phi 2 dash m. So what is your phi 2? This one is your phi 2. Derivating you get minus 3 plus 4m, putting m equals to half, you get this portion is 2, so minus 1. So this becomes minus c times minus 1 plus phi 1m, phi 1m is 0, so this becomes this. From here you get 2c square minus c equal to 0. That means your c taking common, you have 2c minus 1 equal to 0. That means c equal to 0 and c equals to 1 over 2. So you have two values of c for the slope being 1 over 2. So eventually the two equations which you need are y equals to x over 2 and y equals to x over 2 plus half. And one more equation you have got there, right? Y equals to, what was that? Y equals to x. Y equals to x. So these are the three equations which you eventually get, right? So this was the method in which you can find the value of oblique asymptotes. So let this lecture be up till this much, guys. I hope you will understood the concept and understood the formula in which we are going to find the oblique asymptotes. So we will be meeting you in the next lecture.